Recording is on.
So welcome everyone. We are in the 29th week of 2019 and we have gathered some people from the Eternity developers ecosystem and everybody gives an update about what's going on, especially, basically in the past week, because this is a weekly public call. And I will just at the beginning now cover a short update from the base application, so the base wallet, which is available on iOS and Android and on base.apps.com. So Stoyan, who is coordinating the team, posted a few bullet points. They have integrated the send to name functionality after they have implemented registering names within the base app, and this will be available in the next release. They have on the desktop version of the base app, they have added a status indicator for when the user is offline or cannot connect to a node or couldn't connect to a test net. So this was an issue that people often didn't know what's going on, and now they see notifications for this. They also added a version indicator into the settings tab, so this is important for debugging. And they have updated the SDK to 4.2.0. This is all in the development branch and not released yet. Will be released next week, most likely. And he said there's also some fun stuff, but he didn't tell me what the fun stuff is. So this is basically the update from the base wallet. And now I'm going through the team here. And as Shubhendu already had a few words, I will directly start with you. Emil told me that you can give us a few words about the expansions, and you also just were chatting with John. So just give whatever updates you have, and then afterwards we will just jump to John, I guess. So Shubhendu, please tell us how was your week?
Yes. So this week we published an update for AEX2, which is the AEX for um, SDK or ape to wallet communication. So just like how MetaMask works, but for Eternity, we had a complete rewrite of it. We added data methods to so that apps can ask the wallet to subscribe to particular addresses. We also added a method where uh, apps can ask the wallet basically to sign a transaction or sign any transaction related to contract or normal spend transaction, and that's it almost. Yeah. So it was a complete rewrite of AX2 that was suggested by Milan here, uh, and the base app team, and also Nikita. That's it from my side.
Cool, great. Again, it would be super nice to also share a couple of links later in the forum, maybe underneath the recording, so people, if they catch something that they maybe want to get involved with, that they know where to go. So let it be, for example, the links to the AEX you mentioned, or other stuff. I will also try to collect those a little and have this up to date. So John, please, you follow up.
Sure. So for the JavaScript SDK, we've done quite a lot of work on AEX2 compatibility with the connect and disconnect flow, detection of wallets. We've improved the examples so people coming to the project can see some good code. And we now store the history of which apps have connected to the wallet and all of the actions that they took. As well as that, on the Python and the JavaScript SDKs, we made updates for Node version 4, which came out yesterday, and we have updated the command line interface for the JavaScript SDK. For the middleware, we just put a Swagger interface into the middleware, and what that means is that all of the SDKs will shortly natively support the middleware automatically, which brings a whole lot of functionality into the SDKs, with convenience methods like finding transactions between dates, looking at what a particular account was doing, looking at what a contract was doing. So this should improve the usability of the blockchain quite a lot for developers who want to use the convenience features. And we've also been working a lot on the front end to the middleware, which is intended as a kind of guide for people coming to it for the first time so they can see what the capabilities are. And we now log all of the calls that the front end makes. So anybody using the front end can just look on the JavaScript console and see what the corresponding calls are and what parameters they take. So that should make it much easier for developers coming to the project to work out what to do.
Oh, this is all fantastic progress. Thanks a lot. I have also seen this front end already. That looks like a kick-ass blockchain explorer with superpowers. So yeah, thanks a lot. This is a really great update, and I think lots to discover for app developers, and also the update with the Swagger and the SDKs are really, really good. Thank you, John, for this. So next person I'd like to give its update is Martin, who mainly works on the contract development kit Forge and to set up your local development environment. So Martin, please give us your update.
Okay, hey guys. So just a second. So first of all, we have released new version of the contracts app with the latest SDK version, and most important with the compiler, latest compiler version. So we have fixed the example contract to support the new breaking changes from the compiler. So the contracts app is up and running with the latest compiler. Also for 4G, we have created the React shape command. It's now finished and it's merged in the develop branch. Also, we made one cool new feature that is exporting the Forge configuration that will give you the minor wallets, some other wallets exported, also the configuration for nodes and for the compiler. It will be listed on the console and also export into the JSON file, which we will later be able to import into the playground easily. So you can use the local configurations in the playground quite easy. Also, we're working now on the Angular shape command into Forge. Also, we are developing new feature that will export the local compiler into a new Docker Compose file, so the advanced Forge users can change the version of the compiler by themselves. And also, we are now updating the local compiler to the latest version, which is 3.2, and we are working on fixing some issues from the breaking changes of the new compiler. Also, we have fixed the playground address with it is now changed with a non-generalized one, and it should be working. We are now working on deploying new version of the playground with some other fixes as well. So this is from our side for this week.
Great, thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, this is a tool that's really used a lot. So I think you also get good feedback from within the community, and also a lot of juniors I saw in the forum. And I thank you for this, Martin, to be so active in our forum too, where people had like problems installing some fully fledged Docker on their Windows 8 and stuff like this, like is coming in a lot now. And I know that takes time, but I think it's extremely important that we are following the posts in the forum, and also maybe everyone here who knows who is working on what. If you see something in the forum, maybe just comment, tag the name of the person, or forward the forum post link to the person, so that we do try to not miss the requests from the community. Milan, I see your picture and your camera running, so you are the next. Please give us some insights about what's going on in the browser extension, as I've already seen in our chat rooms that some progress has been made. And it's also not you alone now, as you have two colleagues that are also working with you on this. And yeah, so please give us your update.
This week we've been working on improving quite a lot from the UI side. We actually are showing now what exact transaction the user is signing, whether it is a contract or whether it is a spend transaction with quite nice coloring. We fixed some issues with calling stateful smart contract functions and static calls, which were kind of messed up previously. We now have an indicator of showing what exactly account you are making now, and we've unified the panel sections of the network selection and the selection of sub accounts or main account. The wallet, as from the last week, we've told you, supports now fungible tokens. We actually added the feature for the user to create a token himself. He has the ability to fill up a form, which requires for him to provide a name for the token, decimals, and a symbol, and then it deploys a smart contract according to AX9. It is not yet finalized, but it's a way for us to verify whether it will be working correctly. So we are hoping to get more feedback on this and proceed also with the finalization of the fungible token standard. We've added some features in the settings section also in the wallet. So users are now able to clear their privacy data. So they can request to be forgotten from the apps that they authorized previously to use their wallet. We have some new UI here and there. We are also showing the fiat rate in USD and euro for each transaction that you are signing, and also for the wallet balance. And yeah, I think this is mostly it. There are few other bug fixes and UI improvements, but these are the most interesting changes.
Cool, really interesting. And you can get the extension, I think, in the Chrome store and Firefox store, right? And is it also in Opera now? I don't know. I can't remember. But for sure, yeah, it's flowing around, and you can install it, play around with it.
Yeah, it's supported in Opera.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much, Milan, for this update. I also see a fellow here which hasn't been here so often, which is Andrew, who is, I think, working on the Go SDK. Andrew, do you want to say a few words what's going on within the Go SDK?
Yeah, thank you. The Go SDK is, well, finally refactored to the point where many unit tests can be run without having to fire up a node. So I am in the middle of integrating spend to name and contract call, no, wait, Oracle call to name. But that is waiting on the pull request that will be, that needs to be reviewed by Andrea. And then afterwards, I'm going to implement GA, I think.
Perfect. Thank you very much for this update. And I also, who is quite new here in our group, but actually working for quite some time with us in the background, is Rado. Rado, maybe you can also say a few words what you were looking in the past week, basically. Yeah, just a short update about what's going on your side. Right, I muted you. You have to unmute yourself. Try it again.
You're still muted somehow.
Maybe it was me. No. So this could happen because like 10 minutes ago, I was muting you. Maybe you can reload just the window, and then I think you should be back and connected. And let's solve this. It was also the first time that I muted someone because I had some
Okay.
So let's try it.
Yes, it's
we can
working.
hear you.
Okay.
Perfect, Rado.
Cool.
It's your turn.
So in the past week, I was basically trying to make Sophia more usable language for random user. I was implementing stuff I personally missed in this language. So I started with standard library. So you no longer will need to redefine stuff like length of the list in Sophia. And I created syntactic extension, which is list comprehensions. It's a kind of stuff you can that allows you to create lists like in Haskell or in Erlang. It is very handy. Now these changes are waiting for a review by Ulf, and in this time I started to bringing back recursive algebraic data types to Sophia. So I think that's it.
Perfect. Yeah, and thanks a lot for thanks a lot for this contribution. I think it's also great to see how many different areas there are and how you contribute to the Sophia language, and really like these little areas or like big areas in the protocol and important areas. So thank you very much for it, and keep it up. And you were also talking, I guess, about Ulf Norell and not Ulf Wieger, but I see Ulf Wieger in this call, so I will give the microphone to him. Maybe if you can tell us about last week's state channel progresses. Hey, you're muted. We can see you, but you're muted. Now.
I was the mute button didn't respond. So last week's progress. We have made some finally merged a bunch of work regarding generalized accounts for state channels. So that's finally released now. Now, if Dimitar were here, he could bear full witness as to the complexity of that, but we're quite happy to have that in. We have also made some additional improvements to the port multiplexing. So that's partly a feature for state channels, server-side state channels, where the idea is that you should be able to have one port, listen port, and now you can also have multiple responder pub keys on the same port, which means you could pretty much export one port on the node and have all responders using the same listen key or listen port. I think those are the biggies. Right now, we're reviewing PR from Gregor on allowing mutual close after solo close, and it's looking really good. So that will be probably get in or very surely get in for next release, or sorry, it will be activated at the next hard fork, I think, because it does change the on-chain semantics. What the significance of that is that it can speed up a dispute, which isn't really a dispute. One side does a solo close, the other has nothing to add, basically. So then you can propose a close mutual and just simply end the channel instead of waiting for the lock period to expire and then do a settle. So I think that will be quite a good feature. We have also spent a lot of time formulating a proposal for virtual state channels and how that's going to be represented, and the semantics and going through the dispute scenarios. And that's also looking pretty good. So the goal is to implement the on-chain support for virtual state channels in time for the next hard fork. So that's pretty much it. I think we've made quite a lot of progress. recently.
Absolutely great. Yeah, thanks to hear and good to hear this. I also always see you and Dimitar participating in the state channel researchers calls, which is not organized by us, but it's also interesting to jump in and hear like the big challenges also other blockchains have or projects have, and some of them we don't because we just have engineered it differently. And Dimitar is also excused himself because he's digging deep into code right now and reviewing things. So thanks a lot, Ulf, for this update. And I'm going to the next person working on protocol level improvements, which is Michal, who is also here in the call. Michal, please say a few words to your area or maybe like general protocol progress in the past week.
Yeah, sure. So we just landed the 4.0 release. It's major release because we break API in channels area. I missed part of Ulf's update, so maybe he mentioned that. So channels are now aware of generalized accounts in many ways. So that's the past. What's now is going on? We develop stuff in two main areas, channels and naming service. So I will tell you about naming service. Here we have also two things to do. First, introduce bidding and rent. So it's going well. I feel it's going just fine to get to Lima. Second area are subdomains. So we hit a couple major issues with subdomains, and it looks like we will provide subdomains that are not transferable because there is indeterministic work around handling subdomains. So this is great for contracts, and such contracts could also handle registrars. So yeah, so that's the future. But for Lima, we will provide subdomains for single owner. So say you have some top level domain like emin. So then you can have contract.emin or maybe account.emin or oracle.emin. So it still gives some nice UX and value, but you can't sell contract.emin, right? So that's the current status. And I think this is it.
Thanks a lot. It's okay that this is, we are just talking about literally 4 days of work kind of, and what was top of mind and topic for the people here. So thanks for this input. And there's still like some discussions going on around the names. I think there's also a forum post if someone wants to join or has a very special idea where they want to just add input or they have a question. So yesterday in Telegram, also it's not just some basic users had a long discussion, and there are all levels of professionalism, or let's say like from all different areas. You have people like absolutely non-technical people to really the person who's implementing it. So it's interesting how interest spikes, especially around the topic in names.
Yeah.
So
and
next,
so many different visions what to deliver, right? But
yes, exactly.
Practical and do it step by step.
Yeah, so the example you brought up just recently was like, how long should it be that a name is registered? Should it be 100 days? So every 100 days. So this is maybe easier for someone who thinks in a mathematical way or develops a contract. Or should it be 365 days, like a year, like we know it from the registering domains, or how many people, or not everyone in the world, but many people think in these kind of cycles. So there are lots of open topics which are not only technical, and I like this a lot in this whole names implementation process. So thanks a lot for taking care of this, Michal.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, cool. You want to add something, or I jump to the next person here? Good, looks good. I'm jumping to the next person.
I'm done.
Thank you. So I also see Nikita joined, a fellow Jitsa, has no name, but I know his face. So Nikita, please give us some input from your area of work.
Yeah, this week has actually been really exciting because, as so to say, like my main sparring partners from the core dev team are currently on vacation, being mostly our chief trolling officer Hans, our CTO. I took some time to dig into basically the applicability of our JavaScript SDK, and it reminds me a little bit of the early days of Ethereum, where basically there were no tutorials and no best practices, and you just had to figure things out on your own. And I'm basically digging my whole free time into in this JS SDK right now, together with Angular, because Martin and his guys already covered, I think, most of like the aspects of Vue and React. They're also working on the React thing, as I heard right now. And there's some really cool people on the forums and in the channels that are trying to get like Angular applications running with the JavaScript SDK, and poking for help and errors. And I'm trying to bring them all into the forums, so we will have some Google results for people that might stumble upon similar issues, and pointing various people like Nas and Martin like in various directions where some of, for example, the instructions in the repositories could be a little bit more adjusted and fixed just to suit the people's real needs in this case. Also working on an app, as we call it. Nothing to announce yet, better to say I'm not gonna disclose it as of right now, but using your stuff is always the best way of testing. And right now, I just went outside finally. I'm actually writing a forum post for the people to contribute ideas to the things we're gonna tackle after everyone will be back from vacation, being like the sandbox chain implementation and something else which I just forgot about. I think a new API for querying contract data. Maybe some people from the community have some good ideas to contribute to the already really clear picture I think we already have, but yeah, more heads, more brains, more better ideas. That's actually for me right now.
Thank you very much, Nikita. I think this is extremely valuable for the whole community, especially as you have been digging into Ethereum in the early days. I just recently read, for example, about all the difficulties of making static calls in Ethereum at the beginning before the release of 0.5 in Solidity and stuff like this. So I think we're also going through a progress here, but we can at least try to avoid many things that were in the early days of Ethereum and just leapfrog this type of development. And therefore, we need a lot of input from people like you to basically spot those things. So there are still some people here in the call, but I'm not sure if they are developing something right now. There are some who do not have a name and just called fellow Jitsa. So I guess if nobody turns on the camera or screams out loud now, we are through everyone. I also see Pega here. I know she's working on some website and technical support. And there we see the camera, and it's good that you guys turned it on. So these are friends from Buenos Aires. And newly joining and developing. So I give the words to you. Please give your update and a little intro who you are, and welcome to this call.
Hi everyone, I'm David from Queen Fabric.
And Gustavo here.
Nacho. There is Hernan also in another camera because he's in another city. We are developing the application for the conference to
the payment channel application.
Yeah, the payment channel application. Hernan had made the sketch for the application window, for the application screens, and I was working on the test case for the a standard user use case for the interaction on the channel. But we started just a few days ago, and we are on it. That's
it.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. I think this will also get more and more now in the future, that we have people in here who are really working on some nice applications. In this case, it's payments, doing payments on an event through state channels application with POS and client. I think this is really nice and exciting. So I guess in the next weeks we will see and hear your updates and progress, and also difficulties you face. And I also remember at the very beginning we had Peter here in this call. Peter, are you still around? And if yes, then I would just introduce you, because Peter is now working on some piece of software for integration in crypto ATM machines. He had some spare time, and I thought it would be good to have him here too, but I am not sure if he is still here. Peter, can you just voice yourself for a second? If not, I guess that's the update. I see you muting and unmuting. I guess that's you. Maybe reload the window. It could also sometimes happening here in Jitsi. Yep. Three, two, one.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
There was some problem with the unmute. So I've just boarded recently on that project. I'll be responsible with integrating the Eternity with BATM software for ATMs. I don't have to share at the moment the development progress, because I've just started and I'm preparing myself and catching up to speed. At present, I'm setting my new development environment from which I'll start doing my thing. And I guess at the end of the other week, I will have to report what I have developed and what I have stumbled upon, because I'm sure there will be a lot of things to tackle to get to the final point.
Absolutely. And also, if you just could take some notes, like what has been easy, what has been difficult, and maybe also share this next week or the week after in the forum. I think this can really, really help people, because you, the same way, like, yeah, the same way, like Nikita just said it, sometimes there is not even a documentation, and you will also go through this process. So everything that we can find, that we can improve, will help everyone later.
Yeah, I'll focus on using the dev chat on any kind of technical difficulties I have. I'll use it and ask there whatever I need to ask. I get that.
Yeah, perfect. And also, I mean, the dev chat is kind of a one-to-one communication channel where conversations often stay private. So whenever there's an issue that maybe needs to be resolved or gets resolved, it's also really, really nice to have it as a thread in the public forum. So if people go on Google and have the same problem, or DuckDuckGo, they can find this historical records of problems and have some frequently asked questions and know how to catch up on this. The same, like we all know it from Stack Overflow and other different platforms. So this is what we are trying to grow. So I think we had everyone here in this round, and I thank you very much for participating. I will post the recorded call in the forum, and if you have like every 2 weeks, if you have like written updates, please write those written updates, post them in the forum, maybe underneath the call, and also share some links underneath the forum link. I will share the forum link in our private rooms and on Twitter and stuff like this. So just comment, add stuff that you think was missing. Maybe you forgot to say something, you can just quickly edit there. And yeah, I wish everyone a wonderful weekend and week, and see everyone next week on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you too.
That's it.
Bye,
Bye guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye.